Have you ever felt like, if you just had a little more money, your life would automatically fix itself? You tell yourself, once my income increases, everything will be fine. Let me just earn a little more, then the stress will be gone. But the truth is something else, and that truth is uncomfortable, because the truth is, more money does not fix your life. And if you don't understand this now, the more you earn, the more tangled you'll become. Just think for a moment, why do so many people who earn millions still live in stress? Why do some people, even after becoming financially stable, still feel insecure inside? Why does enough never feel like enough? This doesn't make sense logically, because this isn't a game of logic. This is a game of psychology, and this is where the biggest mistake happens. You were taught since childhood, work hard, earn more, and your life will get better. But no one told you, money doesn't solve problems. Money amplifies your habits. If you are already confused, more money will make you even more confused. If you are impulsive, more money will make you even more impulsive. If your thinking isn't clear, more money will push you even further off track. And this is the trap that most people fall into. They think the problem is their income, but the real problem lies somewhere else. When you have less money, you think, I just need a little more. But the moment you get that little more, your standard changes, your expectations rise. What once felt like enough now starts to feel less. And then you enter the same race again. But this time, you're running a little faster. And this cycle keeps repeating. You keep running, you keep earning, but you never feel satisfied. Why? Because you are trying to fix a problem in the wrong place. You are trying to change the outside, while the problem is inside. And until you understand this, nothing is going to change. Because money doesn't change your life. Your thinking does. And if your thinking stays the same, whether you earn 10,000 or 100,000, you will always feel like something is missing. And the most dangerous part, you will never even realize what the real problem was. You will keep believing that, I just need more money. And in that loop, you will spend your entire life chasing something that can never truly satisfy you. Now, the question is not how much you earn. The question is, how do you think about money? Because if that is not right, the further you move ahead, the emptier you will feel inside. And this is the point where most people fail to understand where they are going wrong. And when a person doesn't understand their mistake, they keep repeating it every day, little by little, without even realizing where they are heading. Maybe you are doing the same. You wake up in the morning, you go to work, you earn, and at the end of the day you think, nothing really changed today. Then you convince yourself, it's okay, everything will get better slowly. But deep down, you know, something isn't right. There's a strange restlessness inside, like you are chasing something, but you don't even know what. And then, you start looking outside. You open social media. Someone is traveling. Someone is showing off a new car. Someone is celebrating their success. And you start comparing your life to theirs. Without thinking, without understanding, your mind automatically says, look, they're ahead of you. And that is the moment where the game changes. Now you are no longer running for your own goals. You are running to catch up with others. And that is where the real problem begins. Your enough changes. What once was enough for you now feels insufficient. What once felt like a luxury now feels normal. And you start thinking, I need more. But this more never ends, because it is not born from your needs. It is born from comparison. And comparison has no end. You will always be behind someone, and your mind will keep reminding you of that. Then you start making decisions. But those decisions are not really yours. They come from pressure. You start buying things you don't actually need. Just so, for a moment, you can feel like you're not behind. You begin to adopt a lifestyle that doesn't even match your reality, just because you think that's what normal looks like. And slowly, you place an invisible burden on yourself. Every new expense, every new expectation makes you a little heavier. Then you work even more. You try to earn even more. But inside, you feel more tired than before, more stressed than before. And most dangerously, more confused than ever, because now you don't even understand why you are doing all of this. You're just doing it because everyone else is doing it. And that is the biggest trap, when you are not deciding your own life, but reacting by watching others. And slowly, you lose your original thinking. Your decisions, your priorities, your desires, all become borrowed, and you feel like you're moving forward. But in reality, you are moving away from yourself. And that is the reason, no matter how much you earn, you will never feel that feeling you have been searching for, because that feeling doesn't come from money. It comes from clarity. But this clarity is what very few people have. And this is a point where most people fail to understand what kind of game they are actually trapped in. And this is the moment where a very uncomfortable truth shows up. You are not losing the money game. You are losing the game inside your own mind. Because money is not the problem. Your behavior is a problem. And this sounds simple, but it is the hardest thing to truly understand. Because you have never questioned your behavior. You have always looked outside. Income, opportunities, market, luck, but never looked inside. You never stopped to think, where do your decisions actually come from? Why do you keep making the same choices that keep you stuck in the same place? And this is where real understanding begins. Behind every financial decision you make, there is no logic. There is an emotion, sometimes fear, sometimes greed, sometimes comparison, sometimes a need to prove yourself. And these emotions slowly start controlling your entire financial life. You think you are making smart decisions, but in reality, you are just reacting. And this is the difference between people who manage money and those who keep chasing it. To understand this, think of a simple example. There are two people, both earn the same amount. The first person, when money comes in, instantly thinks, I want this, I want that, I deserve it. He makes decisions based on his emotions. The second person, when money comes in, he pauses. He thinks, what do I actually need? Is this necessary right now? Will this make my future better? Both have the same income, but after a few years, their lives become completely different. Why? Because the difference was not in income. The difference was in thinking. The first person kept satisfying his emotions every time, and slowly, he became a prisoner of his own decisions. The second person kept exercising control every time, and slowly, he created freedom for himself. And that is the real difference. Money does not change. Behavior changes. But the problem is, most people never understand this. They believe that if they have more money, they will automatically start making better decisions. But the reality is exactly the opposite. As money increases, your emotions increase too. Your decisions become riskier. Your ego becomes stronger. And your mistakes become bigger. And this is where people fall the hardest. When they think they are finally safe. Because they believe they have money now. But they don't realize that inside, they still carry the same mindset that was holding them back before. And when the mindset stays the same, the results stay the same. Only the numbers change. And this is the hidden truth that very few people understand. That the game is not about earning money. The game is about understanding yourself. And the one who understands this, everything can change for them. But the one who doesn't, no matter how much they earn, they remain stuck in the same cycle, without even realizing that the real control was never in their hands. And to truly understand this, imagine a simple story. There were two friends, living in the same city, same age, same background, and the most interesting part, both had almost the same income. In the beginning, their lives looked almost identical. Same struggles, same dreams, same goals, but slowly, their lives started to drift apart. The first friend, every time he received his salary, told himself one thing: I work so hard. I deserve this. And then he rewarded himself. He bought new things, upgraded his lifestyle, felt a little better, and for some time, he believed he was making progress. The second friend, when he received his salary, he felt happy too, but he didn't make instant decisions. He paused and asked himself a simple question: will this move me forward or just make me feel good right now? For the first friend, every decision came from emotion. For the second friend, every decision came from awareness. In the beginning, there was no major visible difference. Both earned the same. Both lived similar lives. But with time, the difference started to appear. The first friend's lifestyle started to look better. He had more things, more comfort, more display, and from the outside, he looked more successful. The second friend was not flashy. His life was simple, controlled, and from the outside, he looked average. But inside, the story was completely different. The first friend was slowly getting trapped in his own decisions. Every new expense was adding new pressure on him. Every upgrade was becoming a new responsibility. And he didn't even realize that he was not becoming free, but becoming more and more bound. The second friend was slowly building control. He didn't follow every emotion. He prioritized his future, and gradually, he started creating space for himself. After a few years, their lives had completely changed. The first friend was still earning, maybe even more than before, but he had no time, no peace, and most importantly, no control. He had become a slave to his own lifestyle. The second friend might not have looked flashy, but he had control. He had choice. He could decide what to do and what not to do, and that was a real difference. From the outside, the first friend looked rich, but inside, he was trapped. The second friend looked average from the outside, but inside, he was free. And here's the biggest twist that most people fail to understand. Money does not make you rich. Money does not make you free. Your decisions do. And if your decisions remain the same, then no matter how big the numbers become, your reality will not change. And this is a point where most people get confused. Why they look ahead on the outside, but feel behind on the inside. And this is a place where most people live in their biggest illusion. They believe what they see is a truth. The one driving an expensive car must be successful. The one living a luxury life must be rich. The one who can spend more must be ahead. But the truth is exactly the opposite. What you see is often not real, and what is real is often not visible. This is the illusion that most people get trapped in. You see someone, you see their lifestyle, and instantly assume they've made it in life. But you don't see what's happening behind that lifestyle, how much pressure there is, how many liabilities, how many compulsions. You only see the result, not the process. And this is where you go wrong, because you also compare yourself to what is visible. You think, they have this, why don't I? But you never ask, what did they lose for it? And that is the trap that pulls you in the wrong direction. You mistake appearance for success and ignore control. But what is real wealth? Wealth is not what you can show. Wealth is what you choose not to show. The money you didn't spend, the choices you can afford but still don't make, the control you have when you can say no to something. And this is the rarest thing, because saying yes is easy, saying no is hard. And the person who learns to say no slowly creates freedom for themselves. But the one who keeps saying yes slowly becomes a prisoner of their own decisions. And the irony is, from the outside, the first person looks more successful, and the second looks average. But inside, the story is completely reversed. The first person has more things, but less control. The second person has fewer things, but more control. And in the end, the one who wins is the one who has control. Because money gives you options, but only if you handle it the right way. If you only keep spending, money won't give you options. It will take them away from you. And this is a truth that very few people can accept. That looking rich is easy, but becoming truly wealthy is hard. Because to look rich, you only need to spend. But to become wealthy, you need control. And control is a rarest skill, because for that, you have to go against your emotions. And most people don't want to do that. That's why they spend their entire lives in this illusion, thinking they are moving forward, when in reality, they are only ahead in appearance, not from within. And this is the point where most people never truly understand what real wealth actually is. And this is where the real trap begins, one that money does not create, but a person creates themselves. Because your biggest enemy is not the market, not the economy, not luck. Your biggest enemy is your own behavior. And this behavior doesn't appear suddenly. It builds slowly from your emotions, sometimes from fear, sometimes from greed, sometimes from ego. And these three together start controlling your decisions. First, understand fear. When things start going wrong, when losses happen, when uncertainty increases, you panic. You want to make a decision immediately, just to end the pain quickly. You sell, you stop, you step back, even if that decision is wrong in the long term. In that moment, you just want relief. And this fear pulls you away from growth. Now look at greed. When things start going right, when money starts growing, when confidence rises, you become overconfident. You think, now I've figured everything out. And that's when you start taking risks. More and more, because now you only see gains, not losses. And this greed is what brings you down. And then comes ego, the most silent, the most dangerous. When you start believing, I can't be wrong. I'm better. I know what I'm doing. That's when you stop listening, stop thinking, and stop learning. And this ego disconnects you from reality. Now think about it. Fear pulls you back. Greed pushes you forward. And ego blinds you. And between these three, your decisions are made. You think you are in control, but in reality, you are being controlled. And that is the reason most people don't lose money because they are stupid. They lose because they are human, because they are driven by emotions. And until you understand this, you will keep repeating the same mistakes, just in different situations. You will feel fear and react. You will feel greed and overreact. You will fall into ego and make wrong decisions. And slowly, you will get trapped in a cycle where every decision takes you deeper. And the most dangerous part, you will keep believing that you are right, because your mind will keep justifying you. It will give you reasons for why you are right, even when you are clearly wrong. And this is the point where people lose the most, not just money, but control. And once control is gone, it is not easy to get it back, because then you don't make decisions. Decisions start making you. And this is the point where another silent force begins to work, one that most people completely ignore. Time, which slowly amplifies everything. Whether it's right or wrong, you probably heard of compounding. People say, money compounds. It grows over time. But what no one tells you is this: it's not just money that compounds. Your decisions compound too. Your habits compound. Your mistakes compound. And that is the most dangerous part. Because in the beginning, nothing feels big. A small wrong decision, a small unnecessary expense, a small emotional reaction. It doesn't seem to change anything. You tell yourself, it won't make a difference. But it does. Just not immediately. Slowly, every single day. A little at a time. So subtle that you don't even notice it. And then one day, you look back and realize you are not where you wanted to be. Why? Because you didn't make one big mistake. You made many small ones that kept growing over time. And this is a dark side of compounding. People who only see the positive side are only seeing half the truth. Because compounding is neutral. It doesn't decide what grows. It simply grows. Whatever is already happening. If your habits are right, it will take you up. If your habits are wrong, it will pull you down. And that is the reason two people start from the same point, but after a few years, their lives become completely different. One rises, the other falls, without any dramatic moment, without any big event, just slowly. And that is what makes it dangerous, because by the time you realize it, it's already too late. You think, what did I do wrong? But the real question is, what did I do every day? Because change doesn't happen in a day. Change happens every day. Your small decisions, your daily habits, your thinking patterns, all of these together build your future. And whether you like it or not, this process never stops. You are compounding every single day. You are either getting better or getting worse. There is no middle option. And this is a reality that is not easy to accept because it means your current situation is not the result of one mistake. It is the result of your pattern. And if the pattern stays the same, the result will stay the same. No matter how hard you try, no matter how much you earn, nothing will fundamentally change. And this is the point where most people get frustrated because they feel they are working hard but not getting results. They feel life is unfair, but the truth is the pattern is repeating, and until the pattern changes, nothing will change. And this is the realization that very few people understand at the right time. Most people understand it too late, and by the time they understand, they may have money, but not freedom. And that is the most painful realization, because in the beginning, you earn money for freedom, but slowly, money starts controlling you. You think, I am earning money. But in reality, you are maintaining the lifestyle that you created yourself. Your expenses, your responsibilities, your expectations, all of them together start to bind you. And then one day, you realize you are not free. You are just busy. You have money, but no time. You can afford things, but you cannot choose. And that is the difference. Most people never understand. Having money and being free are two different things. Money gives you options, but only if you use it the right way. If you keep spending it every time, it won't give you options. It will take them away from you. And slowly, you get trapped in a life where every day you have to do things you don't even want to do just because you don't have a choice. And that is the biggest problem. People think freedom comes from luxury, but in reality, freedom comes from simplicity, fewer expectations, less pressure, fewer unnecessary expenses, and more control. Because freedom doesn't mean you can afford everything. Freedom means you can decide what to do and what not to do, and that power very few people have. Because for that, you must know how to say no. And saying no is the hardest skill, because every time you say no, you go against your emotions, you go against comparison, you go against pressure, and that is why most people cannot do it. They keep saying yes and slowly lose their freedom. And then, when they finally have money, they cannot even enjoy it because they don't have time, they don't have peace, and they don't have control. And that is the irony. The thing you were chasing keeps moving further away from you because you misunderstood the game. You thought money was the end goal, but money was just a tool. The real goal was something else: control, time, freedom. And if you don't achieve these, then no matter how much you own, you will never feel the satisfaction you were chasing all along. And this is the point where very few people ever reach. Because to reach here, you have to change the way you think. And the truth is, this is where most people stop. Because changing money is easy. Increasing income is possible. But changing yourself is the hardest thing. Because for that, you have to face the truth about yourself. You have to accept that the problem was not outside. The problem was you. Your thinking, your patterns, your decisions. And accepting this is not easy. That's why most people never do it. They keep blaming the situation, the economy, luck, but they never look at themselves. And that is the reason their life never fundamentally changes. Because change doesn't happen outside. Change happens inside. And until something changes inside, nothing outside will ever truly change. You have to make a choice. Do you want to remain the same person? Or do you want to change? Because the same person, the same thinking, the same habits will give you the same results. No matter how much you earn, if you remain the same, the outcome will remain the same. That's why the real game is not about earning money. The real game is who you are becoming. Are you becoming the person who makes every decision based on emotion, or the person who makes decisions with awareness? Are you the person who says yes every time, or the one who can say no at the right moment? Are you the person who lives in comparison, or the one who lives by their own rules? This is a difference that changes everything, because money follows behavior, and behavior follows identity. If your identity stays the same, your behavior will stay the same, and money will flow the same way. But if your identity changes, your behavior will change, and then your results will change. And this is the transformation that is not visible outside, but changes everything inside. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, through small decisions, through daily awareness, through holding a little control, and by observing yourself again and again. Every time you stop an impulsive decision, you change yourself. Every time you ignore comparison, you change yourself. Every time you choose the right thing, even when it's uncomfortable, you change yourself. And slowly, you are no longer the same person you used to be. And that is the most powerful shift. Because after that, you don't have to chase money. Money starts flowing naturally, because now you have become the person who can handle it the right way. And this is where the game changes. Now the question is no longer how much you earn. The question becomes who you are becoming, because in the end, this is what decides what your life will look like. And this is the moment where you need to pause and ask yourself one honest question. The direction you are moving in right now, is it truly taking you where you want to go, or are you just moving without even knowing if the path is right? Because the truth is, most people never stop to ask this. They just keep moving, earning, spending, comparing, and repeating the same cycle for years. And then one day, they look back and realize they achieved a lot, but never felt what they were chasing. Why? Because they made money the goal, when money was only a tool. They believe, if I have more money, my life will become better. But they never understood, a better life is not created by money. It is created by better decisions. And decisions come from your thinking. So if your thinking stays the same, no matter how much the numbers grow, your reality will not change. You are just playing the same game, at a higher level, but with the same rules. And that is the reason some people earn more, yet still feel empty inside, because they never understood the game. They only increase their speed. But if the direction is wrong, speed only takes you faster to the wrong place. And this is the point where you have to decide, do you want to keep doing what everyone else is doing, or do you truly want to understand how this game works? Because if you understand this, you won't have to run blindly. You will choose consciously what you want and what you don't. You won't make every decision emotionally. You will make them with awareness. And slowly, a clarity will develop inside you that most people never have. And that clarity will set you apart. Because then you won't work just to earn money. You will work to use money. You will have choice. You will have control. And most importantly, you will have freedom. And if you have these three things, you are truly rich, no matter what the numbers are. Now the final question, if you keep going like this, will anything really change? Or will you just keep repeating the same cycle? A little faster, a little bigger, but in the same direction? Because if the answer feels uncomfortable, then maybe it's time to pause, to think, and to change your direction. Because money is not the problem, but your approach might be. And when your approach changes, your results change. And one last thing, if this made you pause even for a moment, if you felt, this is actually about me, then don't just leave it here, because this kind of clarity doesn't come every day. So, if you want more ideas like this, that shift your thinking, that show you the truth, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with people who might still be stuck in the same cycle you are trying to break out of. Because sometimes One right idea can change someone's entire direction. And maybe today you can be that person for someone else. And now you already know what you need to do next.